Chelsea Flower Show has inspired me quite a lot because of all the different variations of plants, vegetables, etc. You know, it's really good for the Royal Hospital and for the pensioners as well. I get lots of benefit for being in the allotments at the Royal Hospital. I get to see the plants growing, to see what they achieve, what I can get out of them, how big they will grow, you know, how many I can grow. And again, you know, it's all to do with being out in the fresh air and the health-wise as well. It's good for everything. I like experimenting each year with something different. This is the excitement about doing a garden. You can't just put it in and that's it. You know, you've got to watch it, try and nurture it and bring it on. Well, I think my success at the moment has been the grapes, which I do. My runner beans, they're special because they're over a foot long. When they actually come out, they're different from the other ones. They're a white bean inside. And I've had success at the far end with my peace lilies, my one rose tree. Yeah, tips on garden, I think it's something you learn as you go along. But the main thing is it's hard work. Don't rush it to start with. Try and get a few books, learn a few tips, speak to the older people that are actually experienced in gardening, and then get in and get involved.
It's wonderful to be able to get out here in it, and I've always done gardening and it's always been a good solace in bad times, but I hadn't realised how much it was needed till this happened. RHS Chelsea Flower Show, it always inspired me because they do such beautiful gardens with a small plot, and we've only got a small plot here, and it just shows you what you can do and how you can manoeuvre things, and there's been some good ideas with what they've done, and I think I'll do that. When I was in the army, I worked as a psychiatric nurse, and I was very aware even then of the benefits for our patients to get some gardening done, and it's so more important here. It's calming and it's satisfying and it takes your mind off other things. Even if you haven't got a garden, you can grow things in a pot on the windowsill, herbs, tomatoes, anything like that. In fact, all my plants, I start them on my windowsill in my room. They're very easy to grow. The main thing about gardening is to enjoy it. Everybody has failures and everybody has successes. One year one thing does well and then it doesn't the next year. But it doesn't matter really. You've enjoyed looking after it, you've enjoyed being out, and if there's any produce, well, that's a benefit as well, and you enjoy that.
One of the things that attracted me about when I was deciding to come into the Royal Hospital or not is I found that they had an amazing array of allotments. I enjoy the garden because you can be on your own, or you can be with your plants, or you can be with fellow gardeners. I get the most satisfaction out of planting seeds or taking cuttings. I'm more interested in seeing things growing rather than them ending up in a pan or anything else. I have a number of tips for beginner gardeners. It doesn't matter what age you are. You can be as young as 2, 3, 4 years old, or you can be as old in the 70s and 80s. You do not need that much ground. As I said, I lived on a barge, a 70-foot narrowboat, for 10 years, and I found with a little bit of careful planning and thinking ahead, I was able to produce most of the vegetables that I needed for one person on the boat. The greatest thing that you will get from gardening, I feel, is seeing something come from a very, very small seed and growing into a large plant. And it's great watching it growing from nothing and then seeing it mature. This is my raised bed allotment, which is quite convenient to my berth, which is just a couple of yards away. I tend to experiment with stuff. So here I've got parsnips, which people used to tell me you can't grow seeds, parsnip seeds in and then transplant them. Well, I'm hoping to prove them wrong this year because I've got one row that I started off in the greenhouse and they're now coming up through quite well. Again, I've got another row of radish. I tend to sow a row of radish or beetroot and then wait until they come up before sowing the next row. A lot of people tend to put in 3 or 4 rows of the same thing. the end result of that is they all mature at the same time. So you end up where I try to get the full season out of all the veg. Being in lockdown, which we have been since the 17th of March, has it's got its good points and it's got its bad points. The bad points is that we've got more time on our hands. The good points out of that is the fact that it's given me more time to plan my garden because I'm not involved in doing other things, being out, enjoying myself, meeting people or anything else. So I've been able to concentrate on what exactly I want to plant this year, and as well it's given me the opportunity to experiment with things that I wouldn't have normally grown or even known about. Things like the snowball turnip, things like the white radish. So again, out of everything, it's benefited me in such a way that I can now plan more of what I'm doing and how I'm going to do it.
I'd like to thank the RHS for helping us with our 2020 virtual Chelsea Flower Show display, and the good people at Southwest in Bloom who donated to the Royal Hospital these wonderful show vegetables which we've arranged very hastily, and I'm sure the RHS won't give me any prizes for this, but we do have some really wonderfully grown vegetables here in our allotment at the back of the hospital. There are very many benefits to horticulture: getting out in the fresh air, getting some exercise, listening to the bird song, seeing the buzzing bees, growing your own produce like this fabulous stuff all around me, which then I can go on to cook in many different ways, or with such produce you need a way of keeping it, and one of the things that we do is pickle our vegetables, and we have this little display of kimchi, pickled melon. This was grown just behind the camera here. This is pickled beetroot, pickled cauliflower, pickled wasabi, pickled, people will like this, pickled nettle, pickled rhubarb, and I haven't tried this because I know I'll blow my head off, pickled chili. Our cameraman is a big chili fan, so maybe he should try it for me. So this is just a very small selection of things that you can make with the wonderful produce that you can grow. The many benefits of horticulture are all around us, and the key one for me is just that continuity of season, that in touch with nature, feeling the sun on your back when you're bending, and the wind in your hair, the dust in your eyes, which we're getting today. But maybe that's not a benefit. It's a very, very difficult year. I don't think horticulture's ever been as important for many people, the lucky people who do have gardens. But you don't necessarily have to have a garden to grow something. If you've got a windowsill, you can grow something, and that can give you a lot of pleasure, a lot of satisfaction, a lot of interest for you, for your kids, for old people. There's many, many things you can do which you will find satisfying, and growing a plant can benefit you in so many ways.